AVS
Hey, this is
Media
Speak Your Mind
Demo.
Radio here with another update on the baby Lisa case. This is taken back from the 15th. The parents of the missing baby Lisa are expected to move
AVS
back into
Media
their
Demo.
home in the 3600 block of North Lister Avenue back on Tuesday. ABC Good Morning America's Matt Gutman reported that Jeremy
AVS
Irwin
Media
and
Demo.
Deborah Bradley will make the move on Tuesday. That was just this past Tuesday, the 15th of November. Now, it has been
AVS
7
Media
weeks since the
Demo.
family stayed in the home baby Lisa was reported missing on October 4th, and Gutman reported that there is a new focus on a 50-second
AVS
phone
Media
call
Demo.
made before midnight from one of the cell phones Bradley said was stolen from the home. This whole case hinges on who made that
AVS
call and
Media
why,
Demo.
New York private investigator Bill Slanton said on Tuesday. The mysterious call went to Megan Wright's cell
AVS
phone.
Media Demo.
Detectives talked with Wright in October, and Wright said she never took the call, and when she got her phone back the next morning, the call log
AVS
had been
Media
deleted.
Demo.
And you can see some of those previous videos at Amber Alert's 2010s radio show on
AVS
Stickum.
Media
And
Demo.
or you could also, there's a link to that show on our website. And you can just definitely click on that one, and it will give you all the
AVS Media
updated video
Demo.
on that. Now, also, they said that and also Wright said, I don't know who answered it or what was said or who was on the other end of the phone.
AVS Media
Gutman
Demo.
talked with a man who said he knows who answered that call, a drifter named Dane. The man who asked not to be
AVS Media
identified
Demo.
said Dane seemed agitated the night the baby disappeared. And he also said, I would say that Dane did not do anything to that baby.
AVS Media
But as
Demo.
for him covering up something for a friend, that's a different story. It's hopefully going to give us them some answers and put to
AVS
rest
Media
the
Demo.
notion that Deborah and Jeremy had anything to do with Lisa's disappearance. The couple's New York attorney, Joe
AVS Media
Tacopina,
Demo.
said that phone number that was dialed from Deborah's cell phone about midnight that night was never dialed from Deb's cell phone ever before.
AVS
We
Media
firmly
Demo.
believe that the person who had that cell phone also had Lisa. Well, we won't know about that, but there is an updated video
AVS
that I
Media
received
Demo.
today. It's new information on that mystery phone call, and we'll take a look at that after this video here.
Bill, will you guys make a statement, please? Tacopina, will you please make a statement?
Hey, Debbie.
Deborah,
John, will you
Tommy,
be...
will you guys please make a statement?
John?
Why are you guys coming home today?
AVS Media Demo.
Kansas City police told Gutman that this is one of the more than 1,000 tips that they've been investigating. Police said they would like to
AVS
talk to
Media
Dane, but
Demo.
he is not a suspect, describing the significance in this case as minimal. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and take you into the new video that we have
AVS
gotten the
Media
information. The
Demo.
private investigator Ron Rugen weighs in with Fox News earlier this morning.
Missing baby Lisa Irwin disappeared. Could prove critical in this case. This child disappeared from her Missouri home last month. Her parents claim she was abducted in the middle of the night. Today we're learning more about a mystery phone call that was made at 11:57 p.m. that night from the phone of baby Lisa's mother, Deborah Bradley, to a woman who's been very mysterious in this case, named Megan Wright. Ron Rugen is a private investigator, and he's been working this case extensively. He joins me now. Ron, thank you for being here. So at 11:57 p.m., the phone call, Deborah Bradley says her phone service was restricted and couldn't make outgoing calls, but the police are telling the family that they saw a call at 11:57 p.m. from Deborah Bradley's phone attempted to this woman, Megan Wright. And the family defense attorneys come out and say, we checked all the records. For a year prior, Deborah Bradley's phone, Jeremy Irwin's phone, had never called that number of Megan Wright's phone before. Therefore, they say the evidence suggests strongly it was an intruder who made that 11:57 p.m. phone call at the same time he was taking that baby And now you say your investigation tells you that Megan Wright only had that phone and that phone number for a month prior to the baby's disappearance.
I was told yesterday afternoon by members of the household where Megan Wright lived that night that they thought that she may have only had that phone for about a month and a half, maybe 2 months, when she first moved into the home. I've reached out to Megan Wright. She doesn't have a phone right now, and so I reached out to her by email last night and again this morning trying to confirm that. So we don't know for sure yet, but we're looking at that possibility.
Ron, do you know if this is one of those prepaid phones or a phone where you have monthly service?
Megan told me last week when we sat down, I visited with her for over 2 hours last week face to face, and she told me that she owned a Virgin prepaid mobile, or a pay-as-you-go.
So on that kind of a phone, if can you transfer a number? So if she had a number 6 months ago to a phone and then got rid of that phone, could she transfer that number onto a prepaid phone, do you know?
I doubt, but I can't say for certain. We have reached out to cell phone experts to ask those questions.
Yeah, I mean, my understanding is that you cannot do that when you buy the prepaid phone. The number is what it is, which, isn't necessarily, damning to either side, but it doesn't. It makes the family's claim that Deborah Bradley had never dialed Megan Wright at this number before, as dispositive of this case, less credible. I mean, it's not dispositive of the case if the woman just got this cell phone number 30 days earlier or so.
It would appear that whoever dialed that number that night trying to reach Megan Wright's phone, whoever the intended recipient was, would either have had to have that number memorized or it would have been programmed into the phone.
What is the latest on, because it doesn't matter. I mean, I think it doesn't really matter whether Megan Wright had the phone, whether this guy Dane, who may have been in the house, had the phone, whether another housemate may have had the phone. Isn't the relevant question here, Ron, who was the 11:57 p.m. caller trying to reach? What was the connection between those two people? Do we know? There's been speculation that that house Megan Wright was in was a source of drugs.
We don't know who made that call. The two things that we don't know for sure are who made that phone call from who made the attempt to make the phone call from Deborah Bradley's phone that night, and who the intended recipient was, whether it was Megan, whether it was Dane, whether it was another household member, whether it was intended for Jersey. We don't know that.
You've raised an interesting question, which is the family believes this was an intruder in part by pointing to the evidence that the 11:57 p.m. phone call was made or attempted for 50 seconds. And they say the mother was asleep at the time. They point out that it was to a number Deborah Bradley had never called before, and Megan Wright says she doesn't know Deborah Bradley. And then they point to the neighbors who at 12:15 said they saw a guy who was bald carrying a baby down the street. Now, this homeless guy, Jersey, who's in custody now on unrelated charges, matches that description. You raise the point of how would an intruder, why would an intruder steal a baby at 11:57 p.m., make a phone call at 11:57 p.m., and then wait 15 to 18 minutes in the home before running, 2 doors down with the baby? Are the houses that close, Ron?
Sense. The house is across the street and down the block from the information I have. I don't know the exact address of the house, but from what I've been told, that's the case. And it makes no sense to me I say if, but it appears that phone call was attempted at 11:57. And does it take 18 minutes? I mean, do you stand around, have a cup of coffee, smoke a cigarette, take a baby, and then decide to leave?
This case continues to have more questions than answers. Ron, thank you for being on with your part of it. We'll continue to ask on both sides. We appreciate it.